Hi guys, happy Lunar New Year. So I am going to jump back into chapter 6, forgiveness and joining. We stopped in the last video on verse 9, and I want to go back to verse 5 to just give us some context. So if you have a digital copy or a physical copy, or if you're just listening, we are going to begin. I'm just taking a moment to ground myself, to center myself. Okay, let's get going. Verse 5, make a new choice. The choice that your heart yearns to make for you and that your mind is finding increasingly difficult to deny. When you choose unity over separation, you choose reality over illusions. You end opposition by choosing harmony. You end conflict by choosing peace. All this forgiveness. What is? Okay. Well, I think you guys can still see me. All this forgiveness can do for you. Forgiveness of the original error. The choice to believe that you are separate despite the fact that this is not so and cannot ever be. So I just want to pause, because when I think about the original error, I think about the word that we use for, sin. And I think that how Yeshua or Jesus describes it as sin or an error, the original error, is only a misunderstanding, right? It's just us missing the mark, and it's not based on the ways that we have defined sin or defined sin in regards to how religion has defined it. And it's given the definition here. The choice to believe that you are separate despite the fact that this is not so and cannot ever be. So let's keep going. What loving creator would create a universe in which such a thing could be? A thing alone would be a thing created without love, for love creates like itself, and it is forever one with everything that has been created. So this is also reminding me of, like I mentioned in the last video, that we aren't here alone, right? It's these other bodies or aspects of us, but it also demonstrates that the reason we're not here by ourselves is because a thing alone, would be something that's created without love, and we are love itself due to who our Father is, due to who created us, and through being created, that ideal, that established our identity and the holiness that is within us. And so let's keep going. This simple realization will start you on the path to learning what your heart would have you learn. Verse 7. The fact that you are not alone in the world shows you that you are not meant to be alone. Everything here is to help you learn to perceive correctly, and from there to go beyond perception to the truth. What is the opposite of separation but being joined in relationship? Everything joined with you in relationship is holy because of what you are. Every contrast that you see here but points to the truth. Evil is only seen in relation to God. Evil is only seen in relation to good. Chaos is only seen in relation to peace. While you see these as separate things, you do not see what the relationship would show you. Contrast demonstrates, which is why it is a favorite teaching device of the Holy Spirit. Contrast demonstrates only to reveal the relationship that exists between truth and illusion. When you chose to deny relationship, you chose a thought system based on the opposite of your reality. So I'm going to stop here. So it's saying, like, when we chose to deny truth, when we chose to deny unity, when we chose to deny love and to be in relationship, which is joining itself, right? It's then we have then chose a thought system that is the opposite of our reality. That is the opposite of our truth. So, you know, when we're seeing the fear, the doubt, the quote unquote lack that we have, the need that we have, it's based on our perception of believing that we're separate from our Father, of believing that we're here to do things alone, of believing that we have to effort and we have to effort to be worthy of love, or to be worthy of anything in this life. And so when we believe that, or we have that thought system, those beliefs then create the reality, and it feels real. But Jesus says in the chapter, some previous chapters, that even though something feels real and it may seem real, it doesn't make it real in truth. So let's keep going. Thus, each choice to deny union reveals its opposite. What is separate from peace is chaos. What is separate from good is evil. What is separate from the truth is insane. Since you cannot be separate, all these factors that oppose your reality exist only in opposition to it. This is what you choose to create when you choose to pretend you can be what you cannot be. You chose to live in opposition to the truth, and the opposition is of your making. Choose again and let go your fear of what the truth will bring. What could be more insane than that which you now call sanity? What loss can there be in joining with what is so like yourself? It is only a small step away from where you currently stand, so helpless and alone. Verse 10. Yet fear you do, and the maintenance of your fear keeps you very busy. You stoke its fire, lest it go out and leave you to a warmth not of this world. This is the warmth that you would have. Warmth so all-pervasive, no chill of winter need ever arise again. And yet, still you choose the fire. You choose the fires of hell to the light of heaven. Only you can stoke those fires, and this is what makes them desirable to you. A warmth not of this world, given freely, with no work involved, causes you to shake your head. How can it be for you if you cannot put in effort to attain it? And even if it were so, what then? Some, you think, might choose to live near the equator, to have the sun shine every day and the need to stoke the fire put behind them. But not you. You think, prefer the seasons, the cold as well as the warmth, the snow as well as the rain, the dark of night and the clouds that block the sun. Without all of these, what would life be? That's Jesus explained that's how, like, our mind, that's like the beliefs that we have. That's what our mind is telling us. Let's keep going. Without all these, what would life be? Perpetual sunshine would be too easy, too lacking in imagination, too sterile. To have every day the same would be uninteresting now. Perhaps later, maybe when you are old and have grown weary of the world, then perhaps you will sit in the sun. Verse 11. This is the heaven of your mind, the meaning you give to joining, the face you put on eternal peace. With such a vision in your mind, it is no wonder that you choose it now, or that you put it off until the end of your days. A heaven such as this would be for the old and the infirm, the ones ready to leave the world, those who have already grown worn out from it. What fun would such a heaven be for those of you still young and full of vigor, those still willing to face another battle, right? So again, this is how our mind, like, yeah, so this is how the mind thinks. And so it also reminds me of how people say like, oh, this person died so young, they didn't get to experience life. And so when that saying like comes up, it's almost like it's unfair that someone has passed away because they should have gone through life. They should have seen the beautiful and also the pain, as if like pain, like, yes, that's a human experience, because we've chosen the ideal of separation, but it's not like it's not who we are in truth. So it's almost as if it's like we view it as such, like a sad thing, instead of it being like they had like a mission here to do and their spirit chose to pass over. So that like, that's what's coming to me when I like listen to this voice, like listen to this verse. That heaven, and it's like we've labeled heaven as something that is a reward of after you have endured and suffered a world like this, that only people who are deserving of heaven, or only people who, you know, pass away, and it's like because of old age. It's as if heaven is where peace is, instead of heaven being seen as as if heaven is okay, sorry, the notification of low battery popped up. But what I'm just trying to say is heaven is seen as something that's like we have to reach for, we have to effort for, instead of it being seen as like a frequency or a mindset, or, you know, it's that. So that's what's coming up when I'm reading this verse, or these sentences. So let me go back to the text. What fun would such a heaven be for those of you still young and full of vigor, those still waiting to face another battle, those who have not yet faced every challenge. If there is a mountain left to climb, why choose heaven? Surely it can be chosen later, when disease has taken your limbs, used from your control, and your mind no longer races forward to what is next. Verse 12. Eagerness for life and eagerness for heaven are seen to be in opposition. Heaven, let me go back. Eagerness for life and eagerness for heaven are seen to be in opposition. Heaven, its eternal peace, is rightly kept, you think, for the end of life. And so you scream at the unfairness when a young one leaves the world. Heaven is not for the young, you say. How unfair that those who die young have not had a chance at life, a chance to face the struggle and the challenge and the challenge. I'm like jumping ahead. My eyes are jumping ahead faster than the words that I'm reading. So let me go back. How unfair that those who die young have not had a chance at life, a chance to face the struggle and the challenge, the coming of the new day and the dying of the old. How sad they have not had the opportunity to stand separate and alone, and to become what they would become. What they are is no more value than what you are. What is still to come is what you live for, with the undying hope that it will not be that which came before. For every challenge faced is but a call to face the next, and each one comes to replace the old, with hope that this one will be the one, and equal hope that it will not. Verse 13. To succeed is but a little death, from which you must hurry on to, where the challenge of a new success and new reason to exist awaits. The carrot of fulfillment you hold before yourself, when grasp, is quickly eaten, and life feeds on itself once again. Just as you eat to still your hunger, only to become hungry again, so does the rest of your life need this constant maintenance to retain the reality you have given it. Struggle to succeed and succeed to struggle yet another day. It's the life you have made. Let me read that again. Struggle to succeed and succeed to struggle yet another day. It's the life you have made and the life you fear heaven would replace. To give up the ideal that this is where meaning is found, fulfillment attained, happiness birthed amongst sorrow is seen as giving up. Heaven's help is most called upon for just this time when giving up is close. For never do you feel more in need of help than when all your plans have failed and giving up becomes an alternative more attractive than carrying on. Verse 14. Few ask for the grace to give up what has been for what could be. Whew. Let me read that again. Few ask for the grace to give up what has been for what could be. For giving up is seen as failure. That's, again, the mind and the way that we have trained. That the way that we have those are the beliefs that the mind, the ego, and as a whole we perpetuate. For giving up is seen as a failure, and here is what you fear the most. To not succeed at life would indeed be a failure if it were possible for it to be so. Yet, even this possibility you would cling to, for with no chance of failure is no chance of success, or so you reason. This contrast that you have come to see in your separate state makes only either or situations possible. While a choice for heaven is indeed a choice to renounce hell, while truth is indeed a choice to renounce illusion, these are the only real choices that exist. And they do not extend into your illusion, but only into truth. For in truth are all illusions gone, and in heaven is all thoughts of hell forever vanquished. Verse 15. How can I convince you that peace is what you want when you do not know what peace is? Those who once worshipped golden calves did so because they knew of no other choice. A God of love was a foreign concept to them, as is a life of peace to you. What is foreign to the world has changed, but the world has not. Those who live with war seek peace. Those who live with failure seek success. Put another way, both are saying this. You seek to make sense of an insane world, to find meaning within meaninglessness, purpose among the purposeless. How can I make peace attractive to you who know it not? The Bible says the sun shines and the rain falls on the good and evil alike. Why then do you think that peace is endless sunshine? Peace is merely enjoyment of the rain and sun, night as well as day, without judgment cast upon it. Peace shines on all that you would look upon, as well as every situation you would face. Situations, too, are relationships. When peace enters your relationships, situations, too, are what they are meant to be and seen in heaven's holy light. No longer do situations pit one against another, making it impossible for anyone to achieve what they would achieve. The challenge now is in creation rather than accomplishment. With peace, accomplishment is achieved in the only place where it makes any sense to desire it. With your accomplishment comes the freedom and the challenge of creation. Creation, becomes the new frontier, the occupation of those too young to rest, too interested in living, still to welcome the peace of dying. Those who could not change the world one iota through their constant effort and peace create the world anew. Verse 18. Here they find the loveliest of answers to their question. It takes not time, nor money, nor the sweat of the brow to change the world. It takes only love. A forgiven world is whole, and in its wholeness one with you. Let me read that again. It takes not time, nor money, nor the sweat of their brow to change the world. It takes only love. A forgiven world is whole, and in its wholeness one with you. It is here in wholeness that peace abides and heaven is. It is from wholeness that heaven awaits for you. It is from wholeness that heaven waits for you. Think about this now. For how could heaven be a separate place? A piece of geography distinct from all the rest? How could it not encompass everything and still be what it is? Home to God's beloved Son and dwelling place of God Himself. So, oftentimes when so I just want to touch on this. This sentence. How could it not encompass everything and still be what it is? Home to God's beloved Son and dwelling place of God Himself. So, God creates like Himself. We are love, and we've touched on this in an earlier chapter, that we are all connected by the one mind. And so God's beloved Son is all of us. It's one, but we're in separate quote unquote bodies. In this world that we've created. So let's continue. It is because God is not separate from anything that you cannot be. So let me start back over. I'm going to start again at verse 19. Think about this now, for how could heaven be a separate place, a piece of geography distinct from all the rest? How could it not encompass everything and still be what it is? Home to God's beloved Son and dwelling place of God Himself. It is because God is not separate from anything that you cannot be. God is not separate from anything that you cannot be. It is because God is not separate from anything that heaven is where you are. It is because God is love that all your relationships are holy. And from them you can find the way to Him and to your holy self. Verse 20. Are your relationships with those you love severed when they leave this world? Do you not still think of them? And do you not still think of them as who they were in life? What is the difference in your mind between who they were and who they are after death? In honesty, will you admit an envy and awareness that they still exist, but without the pain and burden of the body, without the limits placed upon those who remain? You imagine them still in bodily form, perhaps, yet you imagine them happy and at peace. Even those who claim not to believe in God or an afterlife of any sort will, when prompted to be truthful, admit this is an image that lights their mind with peace and hope. This image is as ancient as the earth and sky and all that lies beyond it. It did not arise from fantasy, nor did it pass from one mind to the next, as stories often will. It is but part of your awareness of who you are, an awareness you would deny in favor of thoughts of death, so grim they make of life a nightmare. It is your denial of all your happy thoughts that has led you to a life of such unhappiness. Thoughts of terrors and of sin you will embrace, but thoughts of resurrection and new life you still thoughts of terror and of sin you will embrace, but thoughts of resurrection and new life you still before they have a chance at birth, and call them wishful thinking. Yeah, that's the, the mind. What harm do you expect happy thoughts to do to you? At best, you see them as delusional, but what you fear is disappointment. All that you have wished for and have not acquired within your life is the evidence you would use to deny yourself hope of any kind. All that you have wished for and have not acquired within your life is the evidence you would use to deny yourself hope of any kind. Yeah, it's almost like mentioning, like, when we think of something, it's like, oh, I really want to do this, and I really have this big dream, but it's like we sabotage ourselves by the doubts that we have, by being afraid of the disappointment before ever actually trying. And it's like we stop ourselves due to the fears of what might happen, instead of, instead of the hope, instead of the hope and believing in ourselves and trusting that, we're not doing things alone, right? But it's like when we think that we're separate and think that we're here alone, and that something, that God is so far away and he's like sitting on the throne somewhere, blah, 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 blah. That's when, like, the doubts and the fears and the miscreations and illusions come up in the mind. And then we act from that place. We act then on our thoughts that then become beliefs, that then become actions, that then, it perpetuates the life that we see on the daily, because it's the mind cycling over and over and over and over. Okay, let me continue so I can finish this video soon. Like, we have like one more verse and then we're done with this chapter. So this has been super like heartfelt chapter. So okay, right, let me go back. All that you have wished for and have not acquired within your life is the evidence you would use to deny yourself hope of any kind. You do not understand the difference between wishing for what can never be and accepting what is. The world cannot fail to disappoint you, for your conception of it is based upon deception. You have deceived only yourself, and your deception has not changed what is, nor will it ever succeed in doing so. Only God and his appointed helpers can lead you from this self-deception to the truth. You have been so successful at deception that you no longer can see the light unaided. But join your brother, and the light begins to shine. For all are here to aid you. This is the purpose of the world and of love most kind, to end your self-deception and return you to the light. What a beautiful, beautiful chapter. Yeah. A beautiful chapter. So I'm going to stop here. Thank you all for listening. The next chapter is chapter 7, withholding. And I think in this chapter, Jesus will begin to talk about the true meaning of giving and receiving, and how giving is receiving, and that if you want to know what you have to give, recognizing what you aren't giving and what you are withholding. So yeah, this will be another heartfelt chapter, and I'm excited to delve deeper into it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.